pop culture references, random Easter eggs, history facts, and things you could have gotten your entire life without knowing. Here are 50 totally random facts about Clash of Clans. The Azure Dragon has the longest description out of any unit in the game, coming in at 61 words and 383 characters. The second longest seems to be the Firecracker at 56 words. If you somehow manage to spend all the gems the tutorial gives you, you will end up soft-locking the game, because the tutorial requires you to build the second builder, which requires gems. There are complicated and lengthy ways to get it out of this soft lock, but the easiest and fastest way is to just create a new account, or buy the gems. On the far right of the cyber scenery, there is a graffiti on a wall depicting an archer reaching for a red balloon. This is referencing a series of murals known as Girl with Balloon, painted across London by a mysterious artist known as Banksy, or Banksy, I don't know. To this day, no one knows who he or she is. As you know, the recall spell has a limited capacity, so it cannot recall all the units in an area if it exceeds the housing space limit. However, there are two exceptions where the recall spell doesn't count the housing space of a particular unit. One is when the Phoenix is still in her egg form and is recalled with a hero, and the second is when the Angry Jelly is currently brainwashing its hero. The sound that plays when you stash a decoration or obstacle is the same sell sound that was used all the way back in 2012 where you could sell buildings. They would keep using this sound when you could sell decorations, but they ultimately used it for stashing. The Chinese version of Clash of Clans has troop skins, specifically gold skins that you can win from the gacha system. So far, they only have a gold dragon and a gold Root Rider. Why the Root Rider? I don't know. The original Fireball equipment for the Grand Warden used to be called a Magic Tinderbox, and this was its icon. A literal tinderbox, which is a small device used to help start a fire, mostly used before matches were invented. But speaking of Grand Warden equipment, his Rage Gem was originally called Angry Tome, and it looked like this, a book that was angry. It's unknown if this Angry Tome was any different, but because tomes and gems play a different role in equipment, it's likely that it served a different purpose. The Renegade King's attack animation is a reference to the attack animation of Jack, a character in the Tekken series. That's my whole childhood right there. I remember playing it on the PSP. Anyway, this particular move from Jack is called the Gigatron Punch. You've probably never thought about it because why would you, but in case you want to know, when troops step on a decoration or obstacle, the opacity is reduced to exactly 40%. The tornado's sound effect in the game files is called Total Suckage 01. I'm not even kidding. When you first download or re-download Clash of Clans, sceneries and skins have not yet finished downloading. So in your replays and when searching for a base, regardless of their chosen sceneries or skins, everyone will appear to be using the defaults. It's like being in an alternate timeline where cosmetics don't exist. In the crossover scenery inside of the Brawl Stars themed area, there is a building with a curved shaped window. This is Wood City, Supercell's headquarters in Helsinki, Finland. Apparently, even the hot tub is real, though I couldn't find any pictures of said hot tub. Next time I go, I'll ask them. But now that we're discussing crossover scenery, in the Heyday area, there is a Rico having a picnic with a vending machine, referencing an animation where he falls in love with a vending machine. Town Hall 15 has the only Town Hall weapon that tells you the radius of the bomb's area of effect. You can reinforce your clan castle without being in a clan by tapping on the stone banner where your clan banner would normally be. I'm not sure who needed to hear that, but apparently it's not as obvious as it should be, so I hope it helps someone out there. Not me, who secretly found this out the other day. If you wait to do your gear ups, you can have more than one master builder. Now this is supposed to be Auto helping with the gear ups, but for some reason Auto doesn't show up, so instead there's two master builders, which feels illegal. You can't do three of them though. I tried because there's only two builders in the build base. The tip you get in the loading screen depends on which village you were on before you quit the game. The high sea scenery used to have a flag on the builder base boat, but not long after release it was changed to the red and white stripes like the regular builder base boat. This is because that flag, known as the Rising Sun flag, is more or less seen as offensive in some countries. Well, let's just say that the history behind the flag is often compared to another not so great symbol. The initial tutorial when you first create an account is hard-coded to end at level 10. So if you somehow manage to stay at Town Hall 1, if you reach level 10, it will no longer require you to do anything. The tutorial just disappears. It's over. They gave up. In beta versions of Clash of Clans, there used to be an unused death animation for the Barbarian where he'd sit upright in a fallen position. We only have a picture of it, no animation, but it's unknown what this was supposed to be in the first place. It is possible that developers initially wanted troops to be knocked out rather than vanishing into Elixir, but due to hardware limitations at the time, this was scrapped. The March 2023 Colorfest season was the only season that did not contain a skin in the pass and instead gave a scenery, and all 4 skins were sold individually and in a bundle. They tried to do this again in the tabletop RPG season in September 2024, but with a decoration instead of a scenery. And that did not go well, so eventually the skin was added back. If you look closely, there is a barbarian face on the Epic Jungle scenery stairs. But speaking of the scenery, this entire area is based on a location in the Clash universe known as the Goblin Kingdom, which was featured in the now killed Clash Quest game. It's unknown what came first when it comes to original concepts. It might have been Clash Quest, it might have been the scenery. But it's hard to think of it as a coincidence, as when this scenery came out, the same month, Clash Quest was launched. According to Clash of Clans, the resource potion is actually just a modified haste spell. This info could have been found in the description of the resource potion, but a lot of these lore-centric descriptions were unfortunately removed. Before all flags were removed from the game, the last one to be added was Japan's. This occurred during a promotional campaign in Japan where they also added the Japanese language. According to Clash of Clans marketing manager David Edwards, the average player age is about 23. There was originally going to be a second NPC in Clash of Clans who was a builder with no hammer and purple attire. However, he was ultimately scrapped. As you know, the Barbarian King typically gains anywhere from 2 to 8 DPS per level, closer to about 2 to 5 in the lower levels, and between 6 and 8 in the higher levels. However, for some reason, there is one level where the King gains a crazy amount compared to the rest of the levels, level 41, where he gains 14 DPS. This spike can be seen in this graph. Before launch, the original wall wrecker had a wood battering ram. This was for the lower levels, and as you upgrade it, it would get replaced by metal. However, the wood battering ram never made it into the game. A tornado can move a siege barracks. Like I discussed in my Mythbusters video, it can also move a ton of other immobile objects, like the furnace and the troop launcher. When working on the forge, the 6 builder will show up as a normal builder and not as Bob, giving an illusion that there are 6 normal builders. Hellriders were the first home village troop in Clash of Clans to get 10 levels, and this was more recent than you think. It was in December 2019 with the introduction of Town Hall 13. That was 6 years ago, by the way, not to make you feel old, but still, it's not that long ago. The Battlecopter's blades seem to be tied to its rotation, so spinning it the direction of the blades speeds it up, but if you spin it the opposite direction, it slows down. You could even stop it if you spin it at the correct speed. The Inferno Warbase scenery used to be called Inferno Town when it was released in 2021, which was the actual name its designer gave it during the Supercell Make contest for it. But when the scenery was added to the cosmetic shop in 2022, by the way, at the time it was the only one, players mistakenly bought it thinking it was for the home village, and so they were feeling bamboozled. This led them to changing the name completely to make it a bit clear that it was for your war base. The temporary troop, the Snake Barrel, had a lot of its DPS and hit point values end in the number 8, especially at max level where it did 88 damage and had 888 hit points. This was because the Snake Barrel was released during the Lunar New Year, a Chinese tradition, and in China, 8 is considered a lucky number. Also, a bit unrelated, but here are some of its original concepts. The left is the one that we got. Pretty cool. Maybe I should make an entire video about these original concepts. There are currently 11 unused decorations in the game that are not accessible, including goblin-themed decor, statues, and my favorite, the heroic chicken. I don't know, I've been on the heyday grind lately. These have occasionally showed up in promotional videos and sometimes even attack challenges, but the weirdest part is that even though no one can obtain them, this player, which you can visit, has most of them. Now, it's pretty clear that these are leftovers from old events, but no one knows how this guy has them. But if you're watching this in the future and you see one that's in the game, let me know in the comments. According to the official lore, the battle machine broke attempting to lift the realm's biggest hammer. That's why you have to repair it. It takes a total of 36,310,530 XP to reach level 300. But speaking of levels, it takes a lot to go from level 299 to 300. Just how much? Well, it takes just as much XP to get to level 51 as it does going from 299 to 300. Though many troops have been updated to have 5 fingers, the wizard is one of, if not the last to have 4 fingers. This is only true in-game, as in animations he's always had 5. Here are some interesting statistics for 2025. The most used troop is the balloon, and the dragon at 2nd place. But the least used is the Ice Hound. The most used equipment is the Eternal Tome, with the Healer Puppet in 2nd place. And the least used is the Lavaloon Puppet. You can actually check if there's troops in a clan castle before attacking by tapping on the clan castle, and it will tell you how much of its capacity is in there. The spruce and small spruce tree in the builder base used to be called pine and small pine tree. However, because players often refer to the regular obstacle trees as pine trees, when the shovel was reworked in December 2022 and you can move and stash them, they wanted to make them distinctive. Basically, make it known that these are not the same trees, so they gave it the spruce name. In the game files, the air sweeper is known as the air cannon. If you scroll down your profile and want to go back up, instead of swiping all the way up and wasting seconds of your life, tapping on the player profile button will instantly do it for you. Discounts from events stack, so if you happen to have a gold pass during a hammer jam, things will be even cheaper, but not the way most people think. And this is understandable because it's complicated and it really depends on which event it is. The way it works in the 2025 Summer Jam event is that your welcome back discount of 50% and the Summer Jam discount of 25% are added together for 75%. So a 10-day upgrade will become 2.5 days. Then the gold pass discount is applied to that 2.5 days. So the final time becomes 2 days, a 80% cut. However, this isn't how it always works, because if you have a welcome back discount of 50% with a hammer jam discount of another 50%, adding them together doesn't make any sense. You know, the upgrade will be free and take no time. So in those cases, a hammer jam 50% discount is applied first. Then the remaining time or cost is reduced by the gold pass plus the welcome back discount, which is another 70%. So in theory, the highest possible discount you can achieve is 85%. But again, this depends on what events are going on and how they choose to order it. If you look closely, and I mean really close, archers don't shoot at the same spot on their target. They hit different spots inside the hitbox of the building or troop. The Sleepy King decoration you get from the Supercell ID rewards was originally supposed to be a Clash Royale tower called the Royal Tower. It's unknown why they swapped it. The only time you can see the furnace moving and actually using those wheels is when you train or donate one. Slowly but surely, it rolls its way to its destination. The mysterious object obstacle has a removal time of 9 seconds and it gives you 9 gems. This is referencing Erlen Holland's number 9, which at the time was featured in the game as the Barbarian King and in other areas. All the Clash of Rama skins are connected and follow like a little story. Here, I'll play them in order.
Ooh. Oh.
But speaking of, the archer in the picture is Jenny the Archer, who the Archer Queen hates. The Money in the Bank obstacle takes 41 gold to remove, referencing WrestleMania 41, which happened during the time the obstacle was spawning in villages in 2025. The simplified Chinese Clash of Clans logo is the only one that actually translates the entire logo. In other languages, they put the translation under it. But yeah, those are 50 Clash of Clans facts, and as you can see, random they were. But no matter how random they get, I always have a good time hunting down Easter eggs and hidden details through every nook and cranny of the internet. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and as a reminder, the past 15 episodes will be linked down below. They're all in one playlist if you like these kind of videos. But if not, YouTube thinks you'll like this next video, so why don't you check it out? As always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!